What's up, guys? It's Evan from riversedgecutlery.com, day 3 of Blade Show 2021. Today we have the honor of speaking to Dave from Pro Tech Knives. I'm sure you guys are all familiar. I'm super excited.
Good morning,
How
everybody.
How did the show go?
Oh, the show's been awesome.
I heard you guys won some awards, sold a bunch of knives. The cases are looking empty, which is always a good sign at the end of the weekend.
It is. And most of all, super to be out with the people, see all the dealers, all the customers. Want to thank everybody for their support last year with the online sales. Were amazing, but there's just nothing like getting to connect with the customers one-on-one.
It was, it's been a long couple of years since the last Blade Show.
It has.
But it's great to finally meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for taking the time at the end of the weekend.
Of course.
Really, really appreciate it. Don't want to take up too much of your time, so we'll make this one kind of short and sweet. But I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Starting off, really just how'd you get into this business from the beginning?
Oh, sure. So my dad and my uncle owned a retail knife shop.
Okay.
And so I grew up around knives. And when I was after college, I was a middle school teacher for a few years. And as a side gig, a side hustle, I was buying and selling knives on the weekend, custom knives, other factory knives. And then people, they really wanted autos. And at the time, it's like the mid-90s, there were only a few things available. And I knew some people that were doing, blades and different things. I knew a guy that had a machine shop. And so I had everything outsourced, put them together at home on my kitchen table, and then added them to what I was selling already. And within a couple years, it had taken over, and it was the primary thing.
And back then, was that ProTech, or was that under your last name, or what was
the original company before ProTech was The Finer Points.
I like that, actually.
Yeah, thanks.
That's cool.
Yeah, and what's really cool during the Finer Points days, I was buying and selling some custom knives from Whiskers, from Walter Brand, Emerson, Elishewitz, and then all these years later, they're our collaboration partners.
Fantastic.
And so a lot of these folks that you see our name and their name co-branded on the knife, I've known them more than half my life. I used to buy and sell their custom knives, and now we build the knives with their name on it.
That's fantastic.
The circle of life.
Yes, exactly. It came full circle. I love that. I love that. So, I know you mentioned Elishewitz, brand at the very beginning, but who were some of your biggest influences when you were starting to get into designing and doing all that, getting into more production?
So I love a lot of different knives, I really do, and I like to try to round out the line. My favorite thing are daggers, Godfather, Godson, Dawn, whatever. I tend to gravitate towards them pretty heavily. So if I didn't bring in outside designers, we would probably only have daggers.
Just different sizes and
exactly. Everything would be a stiletto. So it really helps, and I like to see holes in things like, oh, there's something, we don't have a knife like this or a knife like that, and then sometimes I know the people already, and then sometimes it's just, you build a relationship. Like Les George is a good example. He came to us at the SHOT Show a number of years ago, and he tells the story better than I do, but apparently it was, we were one of the first companies he pitched, and he brought me the Rockeye, and I'm like, absolutely, I'll make that knife. And so now we make the full-size Rockeye Auto, the SBR, the SBR fixed blade. It's turned into a whole family of knives.
Absolutely.
And so from a friendly handshake and meeting a guy for the first time to a whole family of knives, it's just great.
Absolutely. And now those knives have become kind of a cornerstone in the brand, in the catalog.
Yep, and it's such a distinctive design. It's so different than other knives we build. It all works well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have any direct mentors at the beginning?
Oh, definitely my dad. Yeah, so the first 15 years of the Blade Show, it was just my dad and I behind the booth. And so with his retail cutlery experience and obviously, enthusiasm and pride in what we were doing and everything. We did it together for years, and so I learned a lot from my dad. Sometimes hard to do the show without him.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What has been some of your favorite projects to work on to date? Either collaborations, projects you guys have done in-house?
I love the creation. Right? The process. It's sometimes painful. I mean, it has its moments. You're waiting for something, or there's a problem, or there's always, it's not easy. But hey, here's the thing we want to do. Like the new Runt we just introduced at the Blade Show, right? So the Runt is the knife that started the company, and it's on its 5th generation.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I have a lot of attention on that model because it's such a cornerstone of the brand.
Yeah.
So coming up with a new design, we really took our time and we really tinkered with it. We came up with different prototypes and designs and back and forth, and then finishing it on the computer, then cutting out a prototype, making sure it feels the way we thought it would, and then making a real prototype, and then putting it into a pre-production group that we brought to the show, and then finally having it, right? Like showing it to the customers for the first time. The whole process on every model, I just love it.
Absolutely.
It's like crack for me.
That rush. yes, absolutely.
Yes. And to bring it out to the show and hand it to the customers and to give, here's the thing we made, this is what we've been working on from nothing, and here it is. There's just nothing like it.
From scratch to handing it to someone.
If I couldn't do it, I don't know what else I could do to fill that itch, that need.
I'm glad we found a productive way, a healthy way to do this.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Exactly. Use it for good, not evil, right?
Exactly. That knife, people have been buzzing about. People have been coming to the booth talking about it. Very well received.
Yes.
So I'm sure you guys are happy about
that.
Very. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Hopefully, I mean, they might all be gone.
I've got one here.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I didn't even see it up there.
So this is, we have 2 blade shapes rolling out on the Runt 5. This is a kind of a Warncliffe-ish blade, black aluminum frame, and on these pre-production early pieces, all hand ground, mirror polished blades. Figured it was a special way to introduce it so that all the folks who get one right off, they're unique with the hand ground blades.
So these hand ground by Mike?
Yes, Mike Eater.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, they look beautiful.
That's a guy from the Finer Points days. I used to buy and sell his custom knives 25 years ago.
That's so
and
cool.
Here we are all these years later with his hand ground blade on our knife.
We were just talking in the shop the other day about how you guys, more than really anyone else, I love that on the box you shout out the craftsman.
Yes.
By name, first and last name.
Absolutely.
He did the inlay, he did the hand polish, that's fantastic.
I like to give the credit.
Yes.
And I think it's important for the customers to understand, all the different steps involved in something like this. The different people, the different processes, the different technology, the different handwork.
Absolutely.
There's a lot that goes into a knife like this. Even a most basic ProTech, so many steps, so many processes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even down to the leather sheaths on the new.
Yes.
I thought that was those just kind of rolled into the store a couple days before we came out to SHOT Show. Or to Blade Show, I should say. And I just love that everything down to the sheath.
So the Chattanooga leather sheaths and G-Feller, the 2 leather sheaths that we're using, the Chattanooga, it's a friend of Les George who says, hey, this is my guy that does my sheaths. And it's like, we need some of those. And it's the true collaboration, right? Like even on this SBR fixed blade, Les George actually makes these G10 scales.
That's so cool.
I told him, hey, we don't have an open machine. I want to make the knife, but I don't know when we're going to get to it. And he's like, I'll make that. So teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
I mean, we did it. We pulled it off. His leather guy, his scales, our blade. It's peanut butter and jelly at that point. I love it.
That's fantastic. So, I've been hearing a lot about a new handle texture that you guys are rolling out. What's the deal with that?
So, I don't know which one you're talking about.
On
the Runt?
Even on the Runt, on the top of that.
Oh,
yes. That's that texture.
So
that's unique to me.
It really is. What's nice about it is it's not something that's going to tear up your hand or your pocket. But when you set on it, it gives you such a great purchase. And a lot of people who aren't inclined for the smaller knives, maybe big hands, they've picked this one up and they're like, you know what, actually it works for me.
Locks in.
Yeah, it does lock in. And we also did some of these with a texture across the frame.
Yes,
Let me grab one of those.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're constantly innovating. Thank you. Constantly trying to come up with new stuff. So this one's textured front and back with a nice little landing pad for the pocket clip.
Yes. The attention to detail on that is amazing. We'll get some close-up shots of this, but I remember when we stopped by the booth, you mentioned that we're just casually calling this texture Grippy Grip for the time being.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when it has an official name, we'll let you guys know. But I think you guys are really, really going to like that. I think it really stands out. Man, that's got a great feel to it. I really, really like that. We'll get some closer up shots of that. But that is fantastic looking. Just a couple more.
Sure.
Has the success of the manual knives, the Malibu, the Mordax, stuff like that, has that surprised you in any way?
I mean, 22 years of building autos,
Yes.
and our best-selling knife doesn't have a spring in it, right? It's kind of funny. But I guess it does make sense. You know, there are a lot of people who've heard about the brand.
Yes.
They've heard about our great customer service,
Yes.
but they're not, you know, interested in autos.
Absolutely.
Which I guess to some extent for us feels unnatural because it's mostly what we do,
Sure.
but I get it. And so it is a larger market. And so it does make sense that sales are large. And one of the things that's happened with it, it's been fantastic. A lot of first-time ProTech buyers are buying a Malibu or a Mordax.
Absolutely.
It brings them into the brand, and then all the other stuff we do
Yes.
is new to them.
Yes.
Right? So someone a TR3, a Godson, all these classic ProTechs, when it's new for them, it's so great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's helped the brand entirely across the board.
Yes.
But yeah, a lot of new people to it, starting with a Malibu.
Absolutely. I've seen that coming from the sales side of the world. I've seen someone come into the store, they want to handle a Malibu, they obviously sell themselves.
Right.
All you have to do is hand someone a Malibu and they love it.
Yep.
And then they call me 2 weeks later. Hey, can I get a Godson?
Right.
Hey, can I get an SBR? Hey, something like that. So it's been fantastic to see. But the success of those hasn't surprised me. I think they're fantastic. Is there any kind of plans to expand that manual line?
Definitely. So the earlier button lock was the Cambria.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe a little ahead of its time.
Yes.
But we'll definitely circle back and make some more of those.
Wow.
We're trying really hard to keep up on the Malibus, which has been difficult. It's a good problem, obviously.
It is, absolutely.
So yeah, we'll definitely expand. We did some bronze Runt 5s. We sold out of those right off.
Yes.
And I promised bronze Malibus for Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That is fantastic.
Yep.
That is going to be amazing. I mean, the titanium one is already kind of paradigm shifting for people.
Yes.
The sound of that they love. I'm sure, yeah, that's going to be a big release.
Yep.
So, final question, what's in your pocket?
Oh, I
ask this to everyone. This is always my favorite question.
I've been carrying an SBR this week. So the Les George design, like we were just talking about, yeah, it's acid wash, knurled.
Beautiful inlay on the button there. That's not surprising.
It worked out well when he was at the booth.
Yes, absolutely. You say, hey, look what I got.
Hey, look, man, I really do love you.
You go back and put an SBR in your pocket. Hey, man, I was carrying this all weekend. It's fantastic. Well, David, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
We appreciate the support.
Absolutely. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm glad you guys had a good
Thanks,
weekend
everybody.
here at Blade Show. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See ya.
Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys in the next video.